Hello YouTube! This is NicoleCringe, and we've managed to take another lap around the sun, meaning it's time to once again go over the year we just had on the channel, talk a little about the future, and then answer some viewer submitted videos. Not videos, questions. Can I keep that fuck in? Is this quick enough? Whether or not I had a censor sound effect there should answer the question. Anyway, we're gonna keep things short and just get right into it. So usually I would start this section off after last year's Q&A, but I didn't do one last year, so I guess we'll start my first video after last year's ECAs. Honestly, while my quantity wasn't there, with a 2-month gap between my video challenging Stanley and the next episode of War Dumb Criminals, followed by another 2-month gap between that and Z4TC, then another 2-month gap after that. Boy, do I sure love my 2-month gaps. That being said, I think the videos I uploaded were usually bangers last year, you know? Even if they didn't find an audience, unfortunately, like the Ocelot video or the Abraham leaking video, I still loved making those. Those were the most fun I think I've had making videos on the channel, period. And then some of the videos are also just my favorite overall videos that came out in the edit. Like, I am really proud of October's War Dumb Criminals episode, and I honestly think it's the best episode of the series and one of my best videos. I love that I finally found a way to have a series be a creative outlet. I'm also really fond of the video where I got a bully key for 50 minutes for being doo-doo farts at zombies. Also, my wife left me during this time, and I know this is not the tone you would expect for that statement, but if you knew Sam and how much she beats me in these videos, you'd understand. But that was 2025 in a nutshell. The definition of, okay, that year, we released a whopping 21 videos the entire year, and like 5 of those shouldn't count because it's either Z4TC announcements or like, I don't know, I'm oiling up or something. It wasn't actual content. But we've already drastically improved upon this front in 2026 because we're already at 10 videos, which is half of last year's output, including those videos I said that shouldn't count. And I've also think we've released some high quality videos this year too. We're not dropping down the quality just to keep up the quantity. Whether it be this year's Z4CA, which I think is personally the best one it's been so far, or my curse video essay, my attempt at a 2016 era Let's Play video where Sam and I try to break out of prison, or the yearly Simmons video, or even the newest War Dumb Criminals episode, which was a reference to the Hangover movies, fun fact. I'm pretty happy with the content we've pumped out this year, and I already have a lot more content planned for the future that I'm really excited about. I'm not going to go too in depth with it because I don't want to pull a Treyarch and tease something I'm going to definitely end up cutting. Factions. But I do have plans to do some non-zombies franchises in my All Achievement series, now that I've finally wrapped up Treyarch, with also me hopefully releasing the non-Treyarch episode some point this year. I promise I want to make it, it's just I have to overcome the mental barrier of not wanting to play Exo Zombies, and that's been 90% of the delay with the video. It's me just not wanting to play Exos. As well as a lot of new games premiering on the channel for the first time. The handout one should be the background footage of this video, by the way, alongside a video hosted by my lovely wife Samantha. So the people who for some reason watch the NicoleCringe channel but hate NicoleCringe will finally have something for them. And then something I'm really excited about, I mentioned earlier, is my plans for Halloween with an event I'm calling Cringe in the Dark. I'm not going to go into too much detail because it's 6 months away, but I got a lot of interesting content that I think will actually outpace my output in 2025 alone in this month. But it's going to have a lot of interesting content in it that I think will actually outpace the content I put out in 2025 alone in just October. And there's so much more. Anyway, I'm done stroking my own ego for now. Time to get into the Q&A portion, okay? And the first one comes from Clayton, or Rail Demising, or Demissing. He asks, how's my day? Great! Thanks for asking. I had some hot chicken tendies earlier and they were fantastic. Next one comes from B-Wave, who, fun fact, made the profile picture on the channel and asks, do you plan to create future content after BO7 Zombies ends? And the answer to that is absolutely. While I know my channel is primarily COD Zombies related, it's not the only thing I do on my channel. I've made videos on GTA 5, No Way Out, Metal Gear Solid, the Arkham franchise, Fallout, etc, etc. So I absolutely plan to make videos after BO7's life cycle. Hell, even most of my zombies videos aren't really stuff that requires the game to be in season either. It's mostly challenge content, and It's mostly on older games anyway. Hell, I made an MWZ video like a month ago, so yeah, I'm definitely going to keep making content after BO7 ends. Juice Bar asks, do you listen to music when playing zombies, or games in general? If so, what are some go-to songs? And the answer is sometimes. As for games in general, it definitely depends on the game. If it's a story game, most likely not, because I don't want to miss dialogue, but if it's something mindless like COD or a ball game, you know, sports games or stuff of that nature, then absolutely I'll usually have either a YouTube video, you know, some podcast or commentary that doesn't require my full attention, or music. Lately for YouTube, if I'm watching a video, I'll be listening to either Chad or John Oliver. I know, what a weird 2 picks. And for music, anything by Childish Gambino will get me right in the mood to keep playing whatever I'm playing. Camp specifically, I think, is great for zombies. Zombie Chronicles 2 for BO7 asks, what's my favorite dinosaur? And I think my obvious answer would be Ash. You know, biologically, she might not count as one. I'm like 67% sure she's human. She's old enough to be considered one, but if we gotta be technically correct, pterodactyls. Pterodactyls have always been my favorite. Although, when making this video, I found out they apparently pulled a fucking Pluto, and pterodactyls aren't considered dinosaurs anymore. Cause thank you, whoever did this. I'm sure it's Neil deGrasse Tyson. So I guess since I can't say pterodactyls, I'm gonna go raptors. Ash herself actually asked the next question: am I ever going to get past round 4? Moving on to someone else, Sam asks if what's my next plans for the channel. Probably trying to instigate a coup, which you can kill me and take over my channel, but no thanks, not falling for it, babe. I'm not going to tell you what the plans are, so you can't recreate them. Jay asks, if Vanguard and MWZ got full dev time and budget, do I think zombies would have had a more positive reception? Vanguard's hard to say because it would need to be a far different game entirely, I think, for it to get a positive reception. But for MWZ, absolutely. I mean, for a few solid weeks after launch, everyone was talking about how surprisingly fun MWZ was and how we were wrong for doom posting about it before launch. Everyone was enjoying the game. The issue then became the fact that there was just never enough post-launch content added, and it didn't have enough content at launch to support it for a full year, and it kind of became the definition of failed potential. But if it had in-games level of post-launch support, I think it would go down as being beloved as in-game is right now. So absolutely, I think MWZ would be a lot more positively regarded if it wasn't for that lack of content. Art J45 asks, what's my favorite gun in COD Zombies history? And this is a weird pick, but probably the M1 Irons. I talked about my April Fool's video that I'm a sucker for revolvers, mostly due to my favorite character of all time being Rick Grimes. So it's either gotta be that or the Python for being 1 or 2. Run05 asks, what zombies game I like to experience for the first time again? This is gonna be a really weird pick, but depending on what you mean by experiencing for the first time, I'm gonna go BO6. Because the thing that made me so sour to BO6 was this awful post-launch season. The content droughts, the awful release schedule, the bugs, taking forever to fix them, and breaking things with every update, and Shark not feeling like they was addressing the criticisms. So I'd be interested to see how I would view BO6 if I was coming in after the DLC season was completed and just playing all the maps for the first time. Would I like the game the way I did at launch, or would I slowly sour on it like I did anyway? I think that'd be a really neat thing to see. If it's not just me being able to experience the game at once though, and it's like I'm somehow teleported back to when the game was in the season, then I go World War II. But if we're going with the I somehow got amnesia and forgot about every detail about the game, and I'm playing it for the first time again today, BO6. Bianca Oblivion asked 2 questions. The first one being, if I could change anything in BO7, what would it be? I'm gonna say for me that's easy. It's changing how damage scaling works, because while I like the idea in Cold War, I think the change I made to it in BO6 is fucking atrocious, and I would love to change how damage scaling works. And I could explain exactly what I would do, but it turns out I already did in a different video, so I'm just gonna play the clip. For those of you who don't know, since Cold War, zombies don't do a stagnant amount of damage anymore. Rounds 1 through 10, the zombies do 30. On rounds 11 through 30, they do 50, with heavy zombies doing 59, since they do more damage for the player for some fucking reason. 31 through 40, they do 75, with heavies doing 88. On 41 to 50, they do 90, with heavies doing 114. On 51 to 60, they do 120, with heavies doing 149. And finally, 61 to 70, normal zombies do 135, with heavies doing 167. And as far as I know, it keeps fucking scaling, but that's as far as Donut's health spreadsheet tracks, so that's all the numbers I have. So this means, on round 70 plus, you are a 2-shot down if you don't have armor. I see why Trek is so hesitant to remove armor now. Honestly, I hate damage scaling. I think it was fun in Cold War from what I remember, damage topped out at 90 I believe, but here it's way too fucking much. But anyway, let's get to how this relic would actually work. How I would have it work is zombies on round 1 would do 75 damage to you, but it never increases. So on round 1, if you do not have armor, you are a 2-shot down. With tier 1 armor, you'd be a 4-shot down. And once you got Jug, you'd obviously be a 4-shot down, but 5 with probiotic without armor, and then armor would benefit even more. But you may be saying, Nicole, doesn't this just mostly make the game easier? And sure, rounds 1 through 30 would be harder, but 31 through 40 is the same, and 41 onwards is actually easier. That's where the second half of the relic comes into play. Armor is more brittle and has less damage mitigation. Armor durability would be cut in half. Instead of getting like 64 damage mitigation from armor, you'd basically get from tier 3 armor, you get a 34 from tier 3 armor, and zombies would do 50 damage to you, making you a 5-shot down, 6 with probiotic. So even though you can technically take more hits without armor past round 50, your health with armor is drastically lower, meaning everything kind of evens out in the end. And then the second question is, ironically enough, if I can make a relic recurse, what would it be and its impact on the gameplay? And luckily for you, I made a near 20-minute video on that topic where I came up with 24 relics Alex Trek had. So if this is a question that you guys want to hear the answer to as well, may I suggest checking out that video after this one, of course. Please don't click off of this one yet. Please watch at the end. I'm begging. I'm like actually on my knees right now begging. Moving on, Dark Side asks, what's my favorite game of all time? And honestly, I know it's a cheap answer, but I can't pick a favorite. My top 5 are like barely, right next to each other, always inching up depending on which one I play recently. So I'm just going to get my top 5 because my favorite changes with the wind. But my top 5 is usually consistent. Anyway, it's Last of Us Part 1, Neversoft Spider-Man, Ghost of Tsushima, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Metal Gear Solid 3. John White Ops asks, what's my favorite zombies map and why is it Firebase? Well, I can tell you for starters, it's not. But just like my favorite game, I can't really pick between my top 3 maps, so I'll just give you that instead. But my top 3 is Shadows, DE, and Fauna. Can I have all the ad revenue sponsor money or Toaster? Get out of my head, man. Wooly asked, how do I deal with burnout? I think the important thing is to just try to switch up what I play regularly. While Key says I only play games with guns and ball in it, I honestly play a lot of different games regularly, and I think since there's so many different genres that I play, it helps me not get as burned out so much. I'm also autistic as fuck though, and I'm used to spending hundreds of hours on something I love hyperfixating on it, so I think that also helps me not get burned out so easily. So, develop autism. That should help you. Crab Plank asked, how does it feel to be friends with the one and only Maya Dirty Feet guy? And am I going to make more videos similar to the TF2 into BO7 video? Firstly, it feels great. I love making Maya Dirty Feet joke about Key and hearing him try to kill me afterwards. It's great. Unironically though, Key's a great dude. He's one of the nicest guys on the planet. I'm glad I can call him a friend. And secondly, kind of, I do have a lot more challenge content planned similar to that, but it might end up being similar to my April Fool's video where I'm doing it on a challenge on every map and not just like one challenge. But I definitely plan on making more challenge content for sure. Necro Beats asked, is Kevin and the rest of the sound system the backbone of the current games, or is that just a sentiment I hold? I don't know if I call them the backbone of the current games, but they're definitely one area that no matter how bad the gameplay is or the writing, you know that the sound design and music for the map is going to be on par. They have not made a single flop, I think, since Classified. And by the way, when I say Classified, I don't mean the Easter egg music was bad. I just the actual map music was bad. The soundtrack is fucking phenomenal. I'm just not a big fan of Shockwave. And finally, the final question of the Q&A. Nova asks, do I have any plans for Z4TK? Or, by the way, it is called Z4TC now. Mayhaps. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say for now. Until later, though, I'll see you guys later. Make sure you guys stay safe, have a good night, and watch out for deer now. Bye. I'm one of a few